Imagine a post-apocalyptic world, where the consequence of making a sound means you die. Well, that's what happens in the world of A Quiet Place. The world is overrun by hearing-sensitive monsters that despise sound. Don't leave your crying baby around one of these creatures, because I guarantee they have less patience than the average dad. I have a better idea: let's get pregnant and increase my chances of dying 100-fold. Great idea. Oh wait. The movie starts with a blank screen showing day 89. We then cut to a desolate town with no people or cars. We can see that the area is dead and there are missing persons signs on notice boards. We are jump scared when two tiny feet dart across the screen. I don't know whether I should feel scared or aroused. We are shown one of our main characters, Evelyn, and can then see her giving medication to her son, Marcus. We are introduced to daughter and son, Regan and Beau, but we'll find out very soon how devastating being a child can be. They are all communicating through sign language and no one is making any noise. It is revealed that the family are able to do this as their daughter Regan is deaf, enabling them to communicate effectively, which has allowed them to adapt easily to the new survival world. The little boy reaches up on a shelf to get a rocket ship, but he knocks it off and Regan swoops in and catches it, with a smile of relief on her face as if dropping it would have some major consequence that we haven't seen yet. When they all go to leave the store, the dad Lee sees the toy his son has in his hand, and steadily takes it out of his hand to remove the batteries. This is why natural selection is a thing. They walk out of the store, but the older sister gives the spaceship back to the boy. After taking zero hints from his father, he decides it's a good idea to take the batteries as well, especially after his dad took them out right in front of him. The family are walking on a trail, all barefoot. Anyone with a foot fetish would be in heaven during this. Out of nowhere a loud noise appears and it is revealed it is the rocket ship after Beau puts the batteries in. Lee sprints towards his son. As the rest of the family stands still and stare in anticipation, not taking any initiative whatsoever. We can see a creature appear, running towards Beau. Before Lee can make it, the creature fruit ninjas the boy, killing him. It's now a year later, and Regan is lying on the ground, enjoying not being dead, unlike her little brother that she killed. Evelyn comes to get her for help. The screen zooms out and we can see a wall covered with surveillance footage and newspapers, briefly mentioning the noise. We can then focus on a whiteboard in the foreground giving us more information about the creatures, and that they are apparently blind and have armor, and not to mention the entire plot of the movie, that they also attack any sound. We can then see Marcus pretending to drive. It is then revealed that Evelyn is pregnant when we can see a makeshift mobile and a wooden box with an oxygen tank. Keep in mind that this is over a year later, so that means sometime between now and then she got pregnant. Listen, I know you lost a son and all, but is having a screaming baby with unpredictable action being around gonna increase your chances of survival? No, I don't think it is. They all sit to the table to eat dinner, consisting of mostly vegetables on leaves for plates. They're lucky the creatures aren't vegan hunters, otherwise they would all be screwed. We cut to the kids playing Monopoly on their own when Marcus knocks over a lamp causing the glass to break, creating a loud sound. They all stand and wait in anticipation, hoping the creature doesn't come down to the basement and fruit ninja them. Marcus signals to his dad that he's sorry, but sorry can't protect them from super creatures with non-penetrable Kevlar body armor. However, it was just some animals, letting them all chill. We can see Evelyn doing medical examinations on herself, checking her blood pressure, when it can be seen on the calendar her due date is this month. Not sure how they figured that out considering the lack of hospitals, but we'll roll with it. Just before Regan is about to go down the stairs, Lee comes and drags her out. Down the stairs is where Lee keeps all his technical equipment and we can see it's where he has his workstation, with books about the human ear, as he is trying to make a hearing aid for Regan. Ever since the death of her brother, Regan has felt responsible, and it leads her to believe that her father treats her differently. She storms out of the house and Daddy follows to punish her for being disobedient. He gives her a hearing aid that he had been working on, but Regan doesn't seem convinced that it will work. Lee takes Marcus exploring, but when Regan wants to join in, her father tells her to stay with her mother. She tries the hearing aid, and it doesn't work and packs a bag as if she's ready to storm off and live in the wild on her own. Regan walks off into the distance, not knowing where she's going. It is revealed that the daughter took a trip to her brother's grave to pay respects. Lee takes Marcus to a waterfall where he gives him the liberty of speaking and shouting out as loud as he can. Since the waterfall is louder, the creatures can't tell the difference and don't attack. Marcus asks Lee about the death of his brother and if the dad places any responsibility on the daughter. Lee hesitates but then tells his son that he doesn't blame anyone for what happened. While walking back home, a man can be seen in the background, standing in the forest. We can see a woman dead on the ground in front of him. Unable to continue without his wife, the man shouts out, and we can hear the creature come and it fruit ninja slices him. Meanwhile, Back at home, Evelyn's water breaks, as she is getting ready to give birth. She makes her way down to the basement, where she stands on a nail that she displaced earlier, causing her to shout out and drop what she was holding. She struggles with her pain and tries to conceal making any noise. She changes the color of their light system, to communicate emergency. However, when she turns around, she notices one of the creatures inside the house. She hides in the basement, but the creature comes down and uses its super hearing abilities to try and suss her out. She uses a timer to distract the creature long enough for her to get away. I don't know why they don't all carry bags of these around, because any time you're in danger you could just throw one away. But I guess that would ruin the intensity of the movie. Lee and Marcus get back home, noticing the lights and rush towards the house, knowing Evelyn is in danger. The house is now surrounded by at least 2 creatures, putting them in PP Pants City. Evelyn crawls her way to the bath as she continues to suck up the birth pain and the pain in her foot. Ouch. Lee sends Marcus on a mission to set off a decoy. We can see fireworks blare into the sky, when Evelyn lets out a scream and the screen goes black. Lee makes his way into the house, finding the bathtub full of red tomato juice, and he presses against the wall as he assumes his wife got turned into fruit salad. To his dismay, Evelyn's bloody handprint reveals she is alive, giving Lee a glimpse of hope. Evelyn gives birth and the baby starts to cry. They make their way downstairs. Lee makes it underground and covers the hole with a mattress as the baby continues to cry. He puts the baby in a box and puts an oxygen mask on its face, and then proceeds to seal the box. That works. Marcus on his way back home hears noises in the cornfield, and panics and runs as a result. He runs into a tractor and knocks himself out. Ha ha. Regan makes it back to the cornfield and finds the torch that Marcus dropped when he ran like a pussy, while a creature sneaks up behind her, listening in with its super hearing. Regan's earpiece starts to make strange noises, and the creature starts to get irritated, and runs away into the cornfield to sort itself out. Evelyn wakes up from a nightmare, to find herself in the basement, and they are completely safe. Lee makes his way out to go find his children. He doesn't seem to notice the broken pipe making the house flood. Regan investigates further and finds Marcus when he grabs her by the foot. The kids manage to find themselves on top of a silo and make a fire to signal their location. Lee checks his surveillance cameras in his office, but they are nowhere to be seen. Evelyn wakes up, with the water flooding the basement. She lifts her head, and we can see one of the creatures lurking in the water, and the baby box with the lid removed. This is why you don't have babies in scenarios where sound kills you. Possibly one of the noisiest things you could have around. Evelyn steps into the water to get her baby. As she bends down to pick up the baby, the creature emerges from the water, directly in front of her. She backs away into a corner to get as far away as possible, not that it's much help, because if the baby makes a noise, they're both dead. The kids argue in sign language whether they should leave and go back to the house themselves. Just when the creature is about to discover them, it is distracted by another noise and runs off. While the kids were arguing on the silo, Marcus walked over the silo door and fell through it, causing a loud noise, as the door falls as well. Meanwhile, Lee hears the commotion after finding Marcus' bag beside the tractor he knocked himself out on. Lee gets on top of the tractor and can see Regan standing at the top, but he is panicked as he knows they are in danger. Regan, unable to hear what was going on, turns around to see her brother missing. She goes to check and finds him sinking in the corn. She jumps down to help him, trying to redeem herself for her previous mistakes. She pushes the metal door towards Marcus, attempting to save him from death by corn. In the midst of all that's happening, Lee notices a creature running towards the silo, endangering his kids once more. Regan starts to sink in the corn as she cannot reach the door herself, but Marcus reaches in and manages to pull her out. They momentarily hug and celebrate that they are okay until they are cut off by the creature landing in the corn right behind them. They lie flat on the corn and grab the door to shield themselves, but it doesn't prove to be much protection as the creature penetrates it with ease, inches away from taking off Marcus's head. The noise from Regan's hearing aid annoys the creature again, sending it off crying into the cornfield. Evelyn makes her way to the office where she finds that Lee found the kids. They aren't out of the woods yet as there are still creatures in the area. The kids hide under the truck and Lee gets a weapon to defend himself. However, the weapon he has would be the equivalent of giving Thanos a kiss on the cheek. He hears the creature behind him and it RKOs him from out of nowhere and sends him flying. Marcus, being the genius of the family, shouts out for his dad, alerting the creature of their whereabouts. In the truck, the second biggest genius decided it would be a good idea to turn off the hearing aid, the only thing that seemed to keep them alive when they were inches from death. Nice. As the kids are getting attacked, Lee wakes up and sees that his kids are in trouble. One thing I would like to point out is how is the noise being created by the creature not attract other creatures? And if it hates noise so much you would think it wouldn't be making such a racket with everything it does. I digress. Lee tells Regan how much he loves her, showing that he never blamed her for what happened to Bo, and gives Regan the closure she was looking for. Lee knew how his daughter had been feeling, and had never chose to address it. In the time of utmost importance, Lee brings the truth to the surface, and in one breath opens his mouth to let out a scream, sacrificing himself so that his children can live, protecting them how he felt he should have with Bo. He smiles satisfied, knowing he has fulfilled his duty as a father where he failed previously. The kids make their way back to the house as the car rolls away. Evelyn cries as she watches what happened from the camera. Evelyn runs outside and grabs the kids as she continues to sob. A creature in the distance makes a loud noise and they rush back into the house into the office. Regan notices her dad's workstation that was mentioned previously, and she realizes in the moment how wrong she was about her father hating her. Marcus holds onto the baby in the corner while Evelyn defends the kids with a shotgun. The creature makes its way down to the office using its super hearing abilities and starts trashing the room. Regan looks at her dad's whiteboard, who had been trying to figure out the creature's weakness, and she now realizes after this whole time that her hearing aid was annoying the creature. She would have saved her dad if she didn't turn it off in the first place, but oh well. You realize now. Sure. Regan turns it on, irritating the creature, and then proceeds to dramatically slam it into a microphone, causing the creature to keel over. They all relax, but the creature gets back up again to jump scare them, but Evelyn turns around and blows the face off the creature. The movie ends showing the surveillance cameras and we see a lot more creatures coming for them, and they turn up the tunes and get ready for the party. Thank you for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe and remember to turn on notifications to get the best rap cinema updates.